Hello everyone, this is Anson from AnsonAlex.com and welcome to my 2015 video on getting started with Google Drive. This video should serve as a starting point for you to learn all of the primary features of Google Drive so you can get up and running and using the system. So first of all, Google Drive can be used with any Google account. So if you already have a Google account, you can just log in with that account and go to drive.google.com to access Google Drive. Alternatively, when you're in your Google account, whether you're at Gmail, Google Calendar, any of the Google services, you could click on the 9 boxes at the top right corner of your screen and then go ahead and click on the Drive icon and it will take you to Google Drive. So Google Drive is a cloud-based word processing and file storage utility which allows you to create documents right here within Google Drive. We can create regular Word type documents, spreadsheet documents, we can create forms so we can send out questionnaires, we can also create drawings here in Google Drive, and Google has also programmed an API, which is tech language for an interface that allows third-party companies to program apps that go inside of Google Drive, and a lot of companies have been doing that. So there are a number of different uses for Google Drive that Google hasn't even programmed but are available because they've opened up the system to allow for third-party programmers. So it's a really powerful tool. All of your items that you store in Google Drive will be accessible from any device as long as you log in with your Google username and password. So that means all of your documents will be accessible on your iPhone, your Android device, your iPad, your friend's computer, a library computer. Anywhere that you have internet access, you'll be able to access all of your documents. Now let's go ahead and start taking a look at Google Drive. When we first go to drive.google.com, we're brought to the My Drive section of Google Drive, which we can see over here on the left because it's highlighted in red. We're going to be using this left navigation a lot here in Google Drive, so definitely keep an eye on where that is. You'll notice that we have a number of different sections in here. We have the My Drive section, which is where all of the files that we create or upload to Google Drive are going to be stored. In the incoming section, any documents that have been shared with us are going to be in the incoming section. So actually, if I click on that right now, you'll notice that on my other Google account, I shared a document with this account just by entering the email address of this account, which I'll show you here in a few minutes, and this document is now accessible from the incoming section of my Google Drive. Recent will list any documents that you've recently worked on. You can star documents just like you can star emails in Gmail, and then those documents would be located in the starred section, and when you delete a document, it will go to the trash. Let's go back to My Drive, however, and let's just talk about creating a new document, because if you're brand new to Google Drive, this interface right here is going to look a little bit different from something that you've seen before. However, when we start creating new documents, the interface that we use looks very similar to Microsoft Office, so it'll bring a little bit of familiarity to you here when you're starting out using Google Drive. To create a new document, we're just going to click on the big red New button in the top left of the screen. From here, you'll notice that we have a number of different options. We could actually create a folder, which is where we can store documents here in Google Drive. We could upload a file, so that means you could upload a Microsoft Word file to Google Drive, and then you can edit that document, which I'm going to show you here in a few minutes. We could also upload an entire folder, and down below those three options, we have options to create new documents. So we could create a Google Doc, which is equivalent to a Microsoft Word file. We could create a Google Sheet, which is equivalent to Microsoft Excel. We can also create Google Slides, which is equivalent to PowerPoint. If we mouse over the More option, we can also create forms, which is where we can create questionnaires. We can create drawings, which allow us to create flowcharts and diagrams. And then we can also use a Google mapping system that's connected with Google Maps, but it's also connected to Google Drive, so you could create a personal custom map here in Google Drive. And then down here at the bottom, we have the option to connect more apps, which is what I spoke about earlier, where third-party developers can program apps for Google Drive. A good example of that is Gantt charts. If you've ever used a Gantt chart, it's for mapping out a project, when things are due, if you need to complete process C before you get to process G. You can actually add a Gantt chart application right here in Google Drive. I'm not going to show you that in this video, but if it's something that you're interested in seeing, let me know, and I'll try and publish a video in the future about Gantt charts here in Google Drive. So let's go ahead and get started and create a document. So to create a Word type document in Google Drive, I've just clicked on the New button, and now I'm going to click on Google Docs. Notice that when I do that, a new tab opens up in my internet browser, and I'm now brought to an untitled document. Google Drive saves documents right as you work on them. So it's really important to name a document as soon as you open it up so that when it's saving it under the correct file name. We can always rename it later on in the future, but if you don't name your document in the beginning, you might have a whole bunch of untitled documents in your Google Drive, and it might become confusing on which document is which. So I'm just going to click up here on Untitled Document to rename it. I'll just name it Document A. When I'm done, I can press OK. Now, like I said, this is equivalent to a Word document, so we can just start typing here in this document. So I've typed out a sentence here in Google Drive. Notice that works just like Microsoft Word. You just start typing and it appears on the screen. We also have all of our formatting options up here in the top bar. So I could highlight my text. I could change it to a different font. I could go to Verdana. I can change the font size. I can use bold, italics, underline. I can change the color of the text. I can insert a link into the document. I can comment on documents, which I'll show you here in just a couple minutes. We can change the alignment of the text in our document. We can make it centered, right, left, justified. We can increase the line spacing if you need to have a double-spaced document. You can do that here. You can create numbered lists, bulleted lists, and you can change your margins. If you make a bunch of formatting changes to your document and you realize that you don't want those changes, you can always click the Clear Formatting button up here at the top right. So you can see it works very similarly to Microsoft Office. Now let's say that we've worked on this document and we wanted to share this document with somebody else so that they can work on it as well. We can actually share documents here in Google Drive, and if we give the other user edit capabilities, they can work on the document at the same time we do. We'll actually see their changes on our screen as they type on whatever computer they're using. So to share a document in Google Drive, there's a couple of ways to do it, but from right here within the document, we can click on the Share button at the top right corner. When we click on that, a little box pops up that allows us to enter email addresses of people that we'd like to share the file with. So I can just enter my email address, webmaster@ansonalex.com, and then on the right here there's a drop down where I can choose which type of permissions Anson's going to have for this document. So if I give him edit permissions, he'll be able to completely edit the document. If I give him comment permissions, he'll be able to highlight text and comment on it, but he won't actually be able to change the text within the document. And if I give him view permissions, he'll be able to see the document, but he won't be able to edit it, and he won't be able to comment on it. Before I share this document with Anson, I could go ahead and add a quick note in here. I could say, here is the document that I said I would share with you. And then I can go ahead and I can click send down here at the bottom. Now once this goes out, I can still edit it, but in Anson, the other Anson, my webmaster@ansonalex.com email address user, will now have this document appear in the incoming section of his Google Drive, and we can both work on it at the exact same time. Now let's say we didn't actually want to make changes to the document, but we just wanted to comment on it. We can comment on a particular part of the document simply by highlighting the text that we'd like to comment on. So I can highlight text, then I can right click, and I can go to comment. Now you'll notice a little box appears on the right side of my screen where I can add my comment. So I can add a little comment, click the comment button, and that comment now appears on the side of the document. The other Anson that I shared this document with will be notified that I added a comment, and he would be able to come in and reply to the comment, and then when the comment is resolved, we can click the resolve button. It goes up to the top of our document so we don't see it right in the sidebar, but if we wanted to see that comment after it's been resolved, we can simply click on the comments button and it will list any of our resolved comments. We could go ahead and we could reopen it if we'd like to, or we could reply to it again. Now remember, at any point during this video, this is our quick start up and running video, you can always pause, rewind, take a look at something again, because I'm just trying to get everybody up and running, showing them as many features as possible with Google Drive. Like I said, for more advanced tutorials on a specific topic, a specific function within Google Drive, please let me know in the comments section here on YouTube or on ansonalex.com, and I'll try and get more specific and detailed videos out there for you. But don't forget to pause and rewind if you need to while watching this video. So we've now shared this document and we've commented on it. And we could just keep going. We can type as much text as we want. This document will save automatically. Notice as I type, at the at the top of the document here, it says saving, and then it says all changes saved in Drive. It's totally saved. If I just X out this tab, I just close out the whole tab, you'll notice that in my Drive list, I now have a document A, and if I click on document A once, it highlights it and gives me some options up here at the top, which I'll talk about in a second. But if I double click, it opens it right up in a new tab, and you'll notice that all of my changes have been saved. That to me is the best feature of Google Drive. If you've ever been in one of those situations where you've worked on a document for a few hours, forgot to save it, all of a sudden the power outage happens and you lose everything, the days of that are over because Google Drive saves it right away. So it's one of the most powerful features right there. Let's go ahead and close out this document and take a look at the My Drive section. You'll notice that, as I mentioned earlier, when I click on this document, I have some features that appear to me at the top right of my screen. First of all, I could get a link to this document. If I wanted to send somebody a link to this document in an email or by text message, I could click on Get Link, and it will show me the link to this specific document. I could share this document with people from here in the My Drive section by clicking on the Share button. I could preview the document, which when I click that, you'll notice it just opens up a new window and shows me a quick preview. I could delete the document, which would send it to the trash. Documents in the trash will be removed after 30 days, so be aware that if you delete a document, 30 days go by, that document's going to be gone. Remember that. I can also click on the More Actions drop-down to give me a few more options with how I can interact with this document. I can move this document to a different folder in my Google Drive. I could star this document, which, as I mentioned earlier, will allow this document to be accessible from the starred section. I could rename it. I could view the details of it. I could make a copy of it, and I could download it. I could actually download this as a Microsoft Word document, which I'll show you in a couple minutes. If I click on View Details, you'll notice that this list on the right loads up that shows the activity that's happened with this document right now. The only activity is that I actually created it, but if we had other users editing this file, we would see their activity over here on the right. Now for now, I'm just going to close out the Details window over here. And what I want to show you at this point is actually how you can create a spreadsheet, and just take you in there real quick. It's very similar to a document, but just so you can see it in action, we're going to click on New, and this time I'm going to click on Google Sheets. You'll notice again it opens up in a new tab in my browser. A spreadsheet opens up in front of us, and again this looks quite similar to Microsoft Excel. All of your normal functions will work. So let's say I put a couple of numbers in here. I put one in cell A1 and one in cell A2. If I wanted to put the sum of these two cells in cell B1, in B1 I can just type equals sum, open bracket. I can click and drag my two numbers here, A1 and A2, click enter, and you can see there's the sum. If I changed the number in A2, it would change the sum in B1. Now I'm not here to show you how to use a spreadsheet application. That's a whole different tutorial, but if you do have knowledge from using Microsoft Excel, it should carry right over here into Google Drive. You can see all of your options up here at the top. You've got your different data types, your font size, bold, italics, underline. You can create borders, you can fill in colors. You have a whole bunch of options here in Google Drive, and always remember to click at the top and name your file. So I've named it Spreadsheet 1. I'm just going to close out this tab. You'll notice in my documents list I now have 3 documents. I have the first document we created. I have Untitled Spreadsheet, which looks like it just hasn't updated the name yet. So let's refresh my drive. And now you'll see it has Spreadsheet 1. It just hadn't come through on my screen yet. I'd like to show you a few different ways of sorting documents here in my drive, because for those of you who've been using Google Drive for some time, you might not be used to this icon view. You might be more used to the list view, which you could access by clicking on this button at the top right of the screen that says List View. You'll notice that it changes. We can see more documents on our screen this way, and we see more details about the documents. So I actually prefer this view over the icon view, but of course that's up to you. Notice that my document A has some silhouettes to the right of it. That means that that document has been shared. It's shared with somebody. Spreadsheet 1, we didn't actually share that document, so there's no silhouette to the right of it. We can also sort over here in the top right of our screen by last modified, last edited by me, last opened by me, or by the name. I tend to sort by last modified because then I can see in this column right here, the last modified column, who edited the file last and what time they edited it. If another person had edited the file, it wouldn't say me, it would say the person's name that had edited it. Now let's say you have a file on your computer that's in Microsoft Word format, or it's a PDF, and you want to upload it to Google Drive. Let's take a look at how we can do that. I'm simply going to click on the New button at the top left of the screen, and now I'm going to click on File Upload. Again, We could also upload an entire folder if we wanted to as well. For now, we're just going to upload a file though. So I'm going to click on File Upload. Here I am in Finder, and I have this document that's called carmanufacturers.docx. It's a Microsoft Word file, but I'm going to upload it here to Google Drive. Notice down at the bottom it says it's being uploaded, and now in my documents list I have another document, and it has a big blue W to the left of it, which means that this document is actually in Word format. If I double click to open it, it's just going to open up a preview of this document. I can't edit it from this screen, but I can see everything that's within the document. Now I'm going to click out of this for now. Let's say I want to edit this document. I can actually right click on it, and then I can go to Open With, and I can choose Google Docs. Now notice that it opens up in a new tab. It takes a second to load because it's actually converting this document from Microsoft Word format into Google Docs format. Once it finishes, you'll notice that the file is exactly how it looked in my preview, but I can now go ahead and I can edit this file. So there we go. I just made a change to this file. Now I want to show you something interesting though. Let's go back to my Google Drive list. In my list here, you'll now notice I have a second car manufacturer's document. That's because when we uploaded it in Word format. But then when we opened it up in Google Drive, it converted it and created a whole new document for us. So don't be confused when this happens. Just take a look at the symbol on the left, because again, W means Word, and this little blue piece of paper means it's in Google Drive format. Now, let's take a look at this the other way around. Let's say we've created this document in Google Drive, or we've at least edited it in Google Drive, and now we want to send it back out as a Microsoft Office file. There are two ways to do this. First way is to right-click on the file and just click Download. Notice it says Converting to Word, and it downloads the document to my Downloads section here on my computer. I could then attach that file to an email, add it to a flash drive, and it is in Microsoft Word format. Now the other way to do it is to actually open up the document, which we already have open up here in this next tab. This feature used to be available from the My Drive section, but it's not anymore, so an extra step has been thrown in there for us. But from this window where we have the document open, we can click on the File menu, and then we can click on the option towards the bottom that says Email as Attachment. Now normally when we share a file in Google Drive, we're just giving somebody else access to it. It's still in Google Drive format. If we email it as an attachment, it's actually going to convert it to the file type of our choice in which the people that we send it to will receive it. So notice at the top of this window I have the option to attach it as, and I can choose PDF, Microsoft Word, rich text, HTML, plain text, or an open Office document. Generally speaking, you're going to use either PDF or Microsoft Word. So let's say we want to use Microsoft Word. We can select that from the list. Then we can go ahead and enter the email address of the person we'd like to send it to. We could change the subject. By default, it's going to be the name of the document. We could also add a message. Here is the document in Word format. And then we can go ahead and click the Send button, and the receiver will receive this document attached to the email in Microsoft Office format. So you can see we can interface totally with Microsoft Office documents. This works the same with spreadsheets. We can simply go to My Drive, click on New, and we can upload a file that's in Word format. Once it's in Google Drive, we can open it up in Google Docs. We can edit it, make changes to it, and then when we've finished making our changes, we can go to File, email it as an attachment, or we can just download it, as I showed you earlier from the Google Drive area. And in this case, we've gotten a document that's Microsoft Word. We've opened, converted, made changes, and then we send it back as Microsoft Word to the end user. It will appear as though nothing has happened other than the changes that we've made. They won't be able to see the conversions. So it's a really powerful way to work in the cloud without using Microsoft Office, using a free application, but still interface with the same users that do use Microsoft Office. I want to show you one other quick feature that I think is really awesome here in Google Drive before I finish off this video, and that is how to look at the revision history of a document. So let's go ahead and let's open up the document A that I have here. I'm just going to double click on it, and now I'm going to click on File, and then I'm going to click on this option that says See Revision History. When I do that, this is going to show me all of the changes that have been made to this document since it was created. In the list currently on my screen, I only have one revision, and that was today at 3:20. However, if I click on this button at the bottom that says Show More Detailed Revisions, you'll notice that a number of other revisions appear, and if I click on any revision, it shows me what was in the document at that point. So we started with nothing, then I typed one sentence, I changed the font size and font of that text, and we have all of these different revisions that we can take a look at. If at any point we want to restore one of these revisions, I can click on the blue button that says restore this revision. So this is great if you make a bunch of changes to a document and then later on decide you don't want those changes, or if somebody came in and tried to sabotage one of your documents, you can see who made the changes, what time they made them, and you can always restore to a version before those changes were made. So other than the automatic saving that Google Drive features, this is my second favorite feature of Google Drive, the ability to review and restore any revisions that you'd like. Before we finish this video, I'd just like to show you real quick how you can start organizing some of your files here in Google Drive. So we're in the My Drive section. We have some documents that we've been working with. So now if I click on the New button at the top left, I can create a folder. So I can just call this Personal. Let's say these are my personal documents. And I can click Create. You'll notice that in the My Drive section, we now have a folder that says Personal. And I can actually click and select one of these documents. Let's say I choose Document A. And I can drag it into the Personal folder. So you'll notice it now is no longer listed in the My Drive section because it's in this Personal folder, which I can click on over here on the left and see any documents that are inside of it. If I go back to My Drive, I could then take Spreadsheet 1 and I could drop that in Personal. Disappears from the My Drive folder, but when we double click to enter Personal, there it is. I mentioned it early in the video, but I also think it's a good idea to use this Recent button over here on the left, because then you'll see any recent documents that you've worked on without having to worry about which folder they're located in, where they are in My Drive. And then, like all Google products, make use of the search up here at the top. Google is known for search. That's how they started. They're really good at programming search engines. And this search engine within Google Drive is super powerful. It can search by the name of the document. It can search by the content within a document. So quite honestly, I rarely use folders anymore in Gmail or Google Drive because I search for everything. It might take me 10 seconds to find the folder I'm looking for, and then within that folder, go down the list and find the document I'm looking for. Typing, if I'm in My Drive and I want to find this Spreadsheet 1 that I created, I can just type spread, say Spreadsheet, and you'll notice it pops up automatically right in this drop-down list. If I don't see the one I want, I could click enter. It'll search my entire Google Drive. Here's a document I was looking for. I didn't have to go into the Personal folder. I just had to search for it. So definitely make use of that search feature as well. Again, let me know in the comments section which features specifically you'd like to hear more about in Google Drive. I hope this video was helpful in getting you started, learning how to create a document, upload documents, send documents as email, and do a little bit of organization here within the My Drive section of Google Drive. That's all I have for you for today. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate a thumbs up here on YouTube. And if you want to see more technology tips and tutorials, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Anson from AnsonAlex.com.